Hello, everybody. What's going on? Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for waiting. You are incredible. You're amazing. I love you so much for being here. Um, I'm going to do something. I'm going to open up the chat so I can see you in here. So today is about connecting and figuring out what you love, what you don't love about the podcast, who you want to see on. For everybody who doesn't know, I have a podcast called It Takes a Village with Delina Medhin. I have renamed it yet again. So this season is called It Takes a Village with Delina Medhin, and you are able to this conversation is really about us just figuring out like what is working, what do you love, what do you not love. I have my notebook here, my pen here to take notes, but I'm also here to show you and tell you a little bit more about what is going to go on with the show this season, how it's going to be a little bit different than other seasons, like how I'm expanding and growing, but also how we're going to continue to expand and grow as well with the show together. I'm really, really excited about it. Okay, hold on. Let me open up because for some reason I can't see the chat in here. And let's see. Let me mute myself here. Okay, let's see. Okay. I believe the chat is live. Wait, let me see. Maybe it's so interesting. I have done a live before. It seems like I have not, but I have definitely done one before. But for some reason, I don't find this as intuitive as other places. Let's see. Send feedback. No. Can I see? I want to see what you're saying. Ah, perfect. The chat is open. Okay, awesome. Hi, TD Long. Thank you, babe. So season 3. So how is it different? And also, by the way, as we're talking, you can leave your comments. You can say whatever it is that you want. And like, I'll respond to everything as we go. So that way, you know more about what everything is about. But okay. So if you've been with me since the beginning, first of all, if you're watching this and have not yet left a review on the It Takes a Village podcast page, please do. You can leave one on Apple and you can leave one on Spotify. It helps a lot, especially as we're ramping up for this new season. And speaking of seasons, so when I first decided I wanted to do this, I was like, okay, I'm interested in doing originally 10 episodes. Like that's how I was like, let me do 10 episodes. And I was like, when I get to a certain place, I'll be like, all right, I know if like it's working or if I actually like it. But it was meant to live on its own. So if you've listened to the first 10 episodes, those are people who I have loved and enjoyed and have really influenced my career and my life. And then when you get into season 2, I start talking to people who I just think are incredible human beings. Like they've influenced me, some of them a little bit more directly, some of them indirectly, but I've been inspired by their careers. And then I really wanted to know exactly what it was that they did to take everything to the next level. So season 3 is a little bit different. As I feel every season is different. And if you think about it, like in seasons of your life, like things are different, right? And like, how are they different? They're different because like our life is going to continue to evolve always, right? And so like in that same way, I feel like the show grows, the show changes, and I want to allow it to change and not feel like stuck in it creatively. And that's why I think the seasons idea actually really works really well for me. So what's different about season 3? So as you know, I took a little bit of time off of social media and I was off for a little bit. Hi, Marietta, how are you? As you know, I took a little bit of time off of social media, and it was so healthy, like super, super healthy for me. I've kind of always had my toe in it a little bit. I haven't really ever like not Been in it since I started, but taking myself off of social media, I was like, okay, this is a good idea. Um, this is healthy and this is positive, and um, I allowed myself to like travel. I moved from New York to LA, and a lot shifted in my mind about what was important. And the main things that shifted was about like, how do we take care of ourselves? And how do we become people who are not just like taking from the world, but how do we actually give to the world? Like, what does that look like? And in order to do that, I think we have to fill up our cups. So to fill up our cup comes like, I'm going to use wellness as a word, but I know that's kind of a loaded word because wellness is kind of like this idea of like, all right, I it's been commoditized a bit more, but I'm really curious how people build their companies. I still care about this, and I think that's the core of the show. But like, how do you stay sane? You know, like how do you stay balanced? Like to Marietta's been on the show, and like it was so interesting. I think we did episode. Let me just double check and tell you exactly what episode it was. I think it was 6. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Um, it was 4. Oh, that was good. I think I said 4 first, right? So, like, in that episode, we ended up talking about her life and like how she became a mom during like her career time, and how much it was about really holding each other down and being a family unit. Like, these are kind of the things that I feel like aren't talked about in as much detail. And I think that like what I've learned about life is that family is important, like and life experiences are just as important. And like when you're building a company or you're building a business, you have to remember that there's more to life than money. And so that's probably been the biggest shift between season 2 and season 3. You'll probably even notice a difference in just the types of questions I'm asking. I'm more focused on like, how do you maintain your sanity and who you are as a person? And it's been more consuming to me because I've realized that like happiness doesn't come from money, you know? And like I think that like that's a personal realization, but also um I don't think that people tell you that. Like people say they're like, yeah, like, you know, whatever, like when you make some money, like you won't be like, "Oh, I have to like." I think that there's a saying that says this, but I don't think there's anything that really bridges the gap between the two of those things. Like going and working in your passion and doing the thing that you love, and at the same time pouring into yourself and being like, how can I do that? And a lot of people are like, there is no such thing as balance. But I have to actually like push back on that because I do think that there is a such thing as balance. And I think that like eventually whatever swings this way is gonna have to swing this way. Like i.e. me taking a huge break, right? Like you guys have seen me on camera being like, hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, for like months and months and months and years and years and years. And then what happened? Boom, Delina needed to take a break. Why did I need to take the type of break I took? Was simply because I overdid it. You know what I mean? I didn't have the balance that I needed to have. So like we have this, a lot of people are talking about things like the phrase is burnout, right? Like how do I avoid, and really I think what I'm basically saying is how do you avoid burnout, you know? Marietta, thank you for sharing that. I'm now a caregiver to my almost 95-year-old mom. It's real, it's tough. That's, I mean, these are the things though. Like it's like, and you have a full, you know, you have your own full life with your husband, and like, you know, and I know your son has a wife now and a baby, and it's like there's so much, you know. You have to, I agree, you have to create that balance. It's just not automatic anymore. Like I don't think it ever really was, but you have to imagine like 100 years ago, like there were women weren't even really working like that. They were home and then men were working. And obviously women fought for the right to work. And I think that it's a beautiful thing. But what happened is that um I think especially as women, I think we really have to think about like our innate, like when we are at peace, we are more of like beings, like we're more beings than doings, I feel personally. Um and I think that like sometimes we force ourselves to do too much. And then we're like, oh my God, am I okay? Am I okay? Am I okay? And it's like, of course you're not okay. And you're not going to be okay because until you rest, you know what I mean? But everything is like, let me get to the next thing. Let me make more money. Okay. But if I just make more money, then I can hire somebody else. Then I can hire somebody else. Then I can hire. And it's like, dude, it's not the answer. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not the answer. And I'm putting, let me, I'm going to actually, I'm going to put myself on, Instagram live and put and say like join on here on okay. I'm literally just facing the camera up like this so people can't like see me but they can hear me. All right, if you're just joining, we're on YouTube live. Hold on, let me show you. Wait. So come join us there. Okay. Okay. So yeah, come join us on YouTube live. Okay, so basically, yeah. So what happened is I swung the other way. So a lot of you who knew me in like 2020, I was one of those people who was going on live like every single day, and I was like Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday for a year. And I remember like one of the wildest things was like I love that time so much. Like I don't even look back on that time as like a bad time. That was like amazing because I was in New York by myself, like completely by myself. I didn't have any friends there or anything. And like, I mean, I have friends, but you know what I'm trying to say. It was like everybody was masked up. Like nobody was trying to go see their friends. Like even my really good friends were like, let's meet, but we'll meet outside. Like I didn't have like support. So live was like my home. Like I was like hanging out with everybody. I was like, yeah, this is amazing, you know? Um hold on, let me pin this. And we built like a really cool community during that time. Hold on. Let me pin this. Pin comment. So yeah, we built like a really cool community during that time. And I feel like uh I don't know, it saved me. I will say that it saved me. Like it y'all saved me, like for real. Cause I feel like I found my community, I found my friends, and I was like, wow, like this is amazing and incredible. Um, at the same time, I've also realized that like, you know, you're doing something every day for like a year, like you need a break, right? So like, but then I didn't take one. So I started exploring different things. I don't know if I think I went to Arizona in 2022. I don't think it was 2021. I think it was 2022. But I started traveling a bit and I was like, wow, like I was like, man, the world is bigger than my room. You know what I mean? Like, especially when we could be outside. Another thing that's really interesting that's happening right now is that a lot of people are leaving New York or contemplating leaving New York. And I think it's because people who were there pre-pandemic have now gotten to the place where they're like, okay, uh, I'm still here, but it doesn't feel the way it felt before. So now, like, now what do I do? Now what? Like, do I leave? Do I stay? Do I whatever? Like, nobody really knows what to do anymore. They're just kind of like, I don't know what to do. It doesn't feel the same. I don't feel the same. I've grown. Also, you have to think about it. Like, for 4 years, it's been 4 years. It's getting excuse me, it's getting closer to 5 since it happened. And so I feel like now at this point, half a decade. Nobody says half a decade, but I'm gonna say that anyway. Half a decade. And so like, like that's a long time. Like you change. The things you want change, like your life changes, everything changes. So um yeah, so obviously I moved. I'm now in Los Angeles. But and I think when I first got here, I was like, I'm gonna travel back to New York and do the show in New York. And I was like, Delina, you don't have to do that. There's so many amazing beauty professionals here. The other thing I'm thinking about expanding into, which I haven't done before, but I'm really excited about doing this year, is I'm gonna talk to more creators. So last season we had on Leah Yu, who's the creator of Crave Beauty. That's Krave Beauty, and she's a creator and also she created a skincare brand. She's actually from Seoul and moved to New York City. And but I love those stories, right? Because it's like it's so interesting because the integrity that you have to have as a creator when you make a product line is so high because your community is online and they expect to see you every week. So it's very much like you can't turn off the comments, you can't stop engaging with them. So I think it's going to be really cool to talk to people about like number one, building community online because I think that's something that's just really fascinating to a lot of people, including myself. And then on top of that, talking about, okay, so how do you actually make, like, how are you sane? You know, creating things online, like it's interesting because it's fun, but at the same time, it's also like a lot of people have a lot, even when you think people don't, like a lot of people have a ton of strategy behind what they do. Even the stuff that seems really like off the cuff and like just, oh, okay, I just kind of threw that together, and it's not thrown together at all, like at all. Like every single bit of it was thought about and rehearsed and figured out. And um that actually reminds me, I took a course. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't on masterclass. It was on like, what was it on? Do you guys know the creator Superwoman? So uh she's really fascinating to me. So she had a late night talk show and a couple other things that she had worked on, but she had a course on like how to actually create content. I can't remember where it was on. It was one of those platforms. If anybody's thinking of a platform, please let me know. But there's so much storyboarding that goes into creating really good content. And another thing that I find that is really interesting in terms of like the connection between the brand and you'll have a brand, you create a brand, and then there's the sales aspect, like you're selling the product, and then there's the marketing. And the marketing is like super fascinating. You know what I mean? Like the marketing is just mind blowing. I mean, I've learned so much just from I re-listen to the episodes just simply because there's so many amazingly talented, smart people. And like I don't know what y'all's favorite thing is about the show, but I'd love to know if you have something that you feel like really resonates with you. But something I really love is it feels like they're saying things that they've never said before. I remember I was talking to Violette from Violette FR, the brand, and she was like, at the end of the interview, she was like, "You're so good at this." She was like, "Nobody asks me these questions. Like nobody's asked me these questions." I talked to her about getting her investors. I talked about how do you have conversations with those investors when like you guys disagree. We talked about, she just recently posted about her mood board, and we started talking about that, like how does she put together this book, you know? How did you put together this, like she put together this book of like all the colors and what she wanted everything to feel like and what she wanted everything to be like. And it became just like she kind of let us into her world. And the thing about V is that she's so good at creating, and it's so easy for her. But it's like the other thing I've also noticed about people like that is that they are the same person in every location. So she's the same person in um she's the same person in Lily Singh is her name, by the way. Superwoman is Lily Singh. But she's the same person in uh every room. Like her temperament, the way that she talks. I remember telling her, and I said this actually on the episode too, is that like when I look at her page on her Instagram, it is literally like I've been to her house. Like when I was on her, she had a YouTube channel. She still has a YouTube channel, but she had a YouTube channel series where she was like working with like 10 different creators. And it was like a really cool way to be like, let me bring different people on there. And some of these people you might even know, like Sophia Rowe was on there, who's like an amazing cook. She was one of them. I was on there. There was a girl, who else was on there? There were so many really cool people. I'm slipping, her name is slipping my mind right now, but I find her incredibly fascinating. She's based in LA. She's a designer. It was really cool. She basically created this space. And so I went to her house so we could film a few things. And I was telling her, I was like, your home literally looks like your mood board. Like you take where you live and you put it, you let other people experience like the art and the vibe and the everything. And it's like, it's not a lift for her because it's like the true expression. And there's different ways to be a creator. Like, you know, there are certain people that I meet and I'm like, you might not live in a place that looks like the way that your space or the way that your online presence looks, but you want your space to look like that. So you're like creating an aspirational thing for you to look at. And then eventually your life will match the way that whatever you're looking at aesthetically. Or you just find it fun creatively to play around and do something that's a little bit more avant-garde, a little bit more like interesting. And you take it and you go, oh, if I put this here and I put this here and I put this here and I put this here, like it'll create a mood and a vibe. But you're the marketing, the thing I've learned the most about like what businesses are really doing well is they have a very clear marketing strategy. We also talked to Danessa Myricks last season, and like Danessa is a teacher by nature. She's also a Virgo. I feel like a lot of Virgos are teachers. Shout out to all the Virgos. And teaching is so firmly, oh, hi, thank you so much, Marietta. Thank you for being here. Um, love you too so much. Thank you so much for being on the show. If you haven't heard Marietta's episode, we talk about the film and television industry, and like she's an OG. Like she did Ghost. I mean, she was working with Whoopi Goldberg, Samuel L. Jackson, like Personal. She's worked on some incredible films. And in fact, actually, when I did The Photograph. I was Issa Rae's personal for the movie The Photograph, and Marietta walked me through everything I needed to do to be like bomb as a makeup artist. And like I loved that because I knew what to do. And I think that's another thing also that I love about the show is that I really want to allow like people to understand our history and like the way that things happen in the entertainment industry is not just randomly. It's with a lot of really incredible, amazing, talented people that take time to sit down and talk to you. Like she didn't have to sit and talk to me and tell me all those things, but she did. And so I came in and I did a good job because I had her support. And I've always valued that. I've always valued being around people that really know what they're doing and what they're talking about, and that have this desire to help us and take us to the next level. Yeah, man, it's just been really cool. But yeah, so like in terms of like Danessa, like right, she focuses on teaching. And focusing on teaching is a really incredible strategy, especially because a lot of people feel like they don't understand how to actually do makeup. They buy things, they buy products. She also has products that work for makeup artists, but also work for everyday consumers. So some of them, like, for example, Color Fix, you need to learn how to actually use that. You might see a tube with a really bright pigmented color and you're like, what do I do with this? And she's like, hold on, let me show you. You can do it on the cheeks, you can do it on the lips, you can do it on the eyes, you can do it, you know, you can paint some really cool colors. You can even do, you know, she gives you how to do it and how to use it. And it's like, she even has something called Teach Me Tuesday, which if you follow her page, you know what I'm talking about. But everyone has like these really specific strategies in how they actually sell product. And in fact, if you guys have questions for me too, like I will definitely answer them based off of what I've learned. But yeah, Charlotte Parlamino, like I love listening to her. Like she's the founder of Do Skin, which are those under eye patches that I use and I absolutely love. We have an episode with her and like, man, like talk about just somebody who just deep dives for information at all times. She is such an information finder, gatherer, and like she takes that information. Right now, she's doing this really cool thing where she's experimenting on like figuring out different things about sunscreen. There are different regulations in the US than there are in Europe for sunscreen. And she's like, okay, well, how can we make our sunscreen better here? Like, how can we be more forward thinking with the way that our sunscreen operates? Like, why is our sunscreen not as good? And it's really interesting. It's super, super interesting. I mean, I think that I'm so fascinated with innovation. And so innovation has just constantly been something that I feel like innovation is so interesting to me. It's just so interesting to me. But at the same time, it's also like, well, what are you doing for your health and wellness? What are you doing for your body? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing um, to take everything to the next level and still feel sane? Like, hi, Anne. How are you? Nice to see you. So yeah, so that's what season 3 is really going to be about. Season 3 is going to be about a little bit more about wellness. I have a few wellness brand owners that I want to talk to. There's a girl I want to talk to about like how do you actually like make a product. I want to talk to people about like the lab, the process, the how. The how is so interesting to me. The how is so interesting to me. But also like, do y'all see the crossover? Like, do you see what I'm talking about when I say that? Like, do you understand like what I'm like why I feel like both of those things are so necessary and why it matters so much? To me, like it's essential. You know what I mean? Like it's essential. Like, how could you live your life and like, hey, if you guys are on here, come and join us on YouTube because I'm talking on YouTube and like answering chat questions over there, not over here. So come over here. It's so great to see you too. Hi, Kathy. How are you? I'd love for you to interview Lauren Ash from Black Girl in Ohm and Now Rooted. Wait, Iris, tell me more about that. I'm curious. What I love is the how and how it started and the process and what they encountered, inside information that you don't get anywhere. Nice. I love that. I love that. I feel that way too. Something I've done recently is I care a lot. Like I've been listening more to their previous interviews. So if somebody's done like an interview before, I'll listen to that. Like I'll try and listen and we're like gathering all the information. And then I'm trying to jump into more meatier like conversation that I feel like nobody's asked them yet. So I think it's important to touch on the background and the understanding of who that person is. But I think I want to make the episodes a little bit shorter. And I think that like the best way to do that is to not do so much of a deep dive on like um everything and then you know what I mean and feel like you guys tell me like you don't feel like they need to be shorter, Anne? Do you feel like the length is good? Cuz like they're okay, they range. So some of my episodes are like 45 minutes. Some of them are closer to like um some of them are closer to like an hour. Some are like an hour 15. I think the longest we've done is almost 2 hours. I think Anne's like, no, they're not too long. Keep them the same length. I think I did with Danessa, I think we talked for 2 hours. The 15 was too short in my opinion. Really? Okay, wait. What do you mean the 15? Oh, really? That's interesting. Wait, the 15, you think the 15 was too short like the 15-minute like personal conversation, like that I was like talking directly to you, or do you feel like the okay, this is interesting. Okay, I was left wanting more, 1 hour at least. Okay, tell me why. So you don't feel like you don't listen to it and go, "Oh, like I feel like this needs to be shorter." You like the personal conversations. Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad that you said that. That makes me very happy to know. Okay, Kathy's saying it. Tomayeful. How do you say your name? Iris and Anne. Okay. All right, cool. So you guys like them longer. That's interesting. See, like I was thinking that maybe it was a little bit too lengthy. Tamara. Okay. Hi, Tamara. Um, or Tamara. Tamara. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I just had a hesitation. I was like, man, like maybe it's a little bit too long because I felt like most people were doing their episodes and their episodes were like an hour. And so I started to be like, well, maybe I'll do it for an hour. Okay. In terms of the personal episode, now I have a question. So in terms of the personal episodes, like the ones where like I just like talk directly to you, do you feel like those are too short or do you even want more of those? Because I've also been thinking about like doing a few more like quick cuts like that, more of like me talking directly to you about different things. Like I think I did one about like contracts, and I think I did another one about I can't remember what I did them on. I should pull this up actually. No, it's such great info. Let the information dictate the length of. Okay. I mean, I'm asking because honestly, like I was starting to feel like they were too long. But I'm really happy. For the personal, I like 30 depending on the topic. Wow. Or doing a part A or part B. Okay, let me ask you another question. What about when I cut the episode and I give you like a little clip of the episode? Like, and then I say this is a clip from that specific episode. Do you like that, or how do you feel about that? Nope, give me 60. That is so funny. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up some of these. Uh, your conversations. Oh, Kathy, thank you so much. Your conversations are so thought provoking that you continue to do what you're doing. Thank you. Nado tease me. Okay, but I was wondering, okay, the clips are good. You know what's really interesting too about the clips to speak to that? Okay, so last season I thought I put out a bunch of clips. And I realized that I only put out 2 clips an episode, which means we only had 24 episodes, which means that I only put out was that 48 clips? That's it? I was like, that's insane. Like I didn't even realize that I didn't put out enough clips. So now I'm like revisiting that and being like, okay, I definitely need to put out some more clips. The clips are good to engage us to come onto the podcast and listen more. Thank you so much, Tamara. Um, every time I listen to the 15-minute clips, I was like, where's the rest? LOL. That's so funny. Okay. All right. I get it. I get it. Okay. Okay, do you have a favorite episode or a favorite guest that you had on? And then, okay, wait. Iris, you also said that you liked who was it? BGIO for Black Women in the Wellness and Yoga Space. Okay, I'm gonna write this down. I'm taking some notes too because I want to make sure that if there's anybody that you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to know. And then also keep in mind too that I'm in LA. So it's obviously everybody comes here. That's I think the beauty of being here, which has been nice, is like people are either in New York or LA, but they normally my thing is like I'm trying to catch people when they're in LA. So I could reach out to them and then get them to come to the studio for a little bit with me while they're here. That's the goal. Um, okay, who is that? Lauren Ash. Okay, I don't know if I know her. And also, are there any other beauty podcasts that you listen to? Because I don't know if I necessarily feel like the podcast is a beauty podcast. That's another thing. Like, I don't really know if it's giving beauty podcast. Like, it feels like it's actually um yeah, I did. I did do one about my journey being my own. You're right. You're right. Anyone would you like to interview that you haven't? Yeah, I have some. I have some. Michaela, how are you, boo? Nice to see you. I like the 15-minute clips because I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I scroll through to see who I'm going to listen to. The 15 minutes clips do a nice job, and it's not all the time. Okay, so you don't mind them, but you don't necessarily. Okay, so you guys are split. Some people like them, some people don't like them. The thing is I put them out like these 15-minute clips of the episodes I put out because I was like, okay, this is a good clip of the episode so you can have an understanding about uh what the episode might be like, but you don't have to necessarily feel like, okay, this episode is like you can kind of get a little taste of it, or you can get like a full thought or a full idea, but you don't have to necessarily feel like you have to sit for the whole episode is kind of what it is. I listen to Friends and Beauty by Akua Robinson. Okay, cool. Life of a Makeup Artist. Great. Start there. Start right here. Start right here. I don't know that one. I haven't heard of that. I'm gonna write that down. By Corinne. And the reason also, if you guys are wondering, like, why did I do the live here, is because it's a great way for us to like. I really like YouTube a lot, and I abandoned it, and I don't know why I did that, but it's also a great way for us to have like our thoughts here, you know, like I like the 15-minute ones. Okay, the 15-minute posting on your IG was great. It might just be how Spotify played them when I listen. Wait, when you say 15-minute posting on your IG, which one do you mean? Okay. Naked Beauty. I listen to Naked Beauty too. Um Entrepreneur podcast. Do you guys listen to those? And like if you do, which ones are your favorites? I feel like the thought okay, so who do I want to interview? Okay, creators, Jackie Aina. I really want to talk to her. I think that she's just so fascinating. I think it's really interesting how she um started in beauty. She still obviously does beauty, but I thought it was just such a genius move to create a home line. Like creating a home line that doesn't cannibalize your existing beauty partnerships was just super smart. To me, like that's just like such a boss move, and I feel like talking to her about that would be so cool. I also just really respect her, and she's always been really friendly and kind to me over the years. I've known her for like I don't know her, but I know of her, and she's always been really kind and responded to me and things like that. So it would be cool. I think she would be a really cool person to talk to. Um, oh my gosh, Susie. Yo, I need to hit up Susie because she was in LA. I actually she just messaged me and was like, yo, I moved to LA. I was like, okay. And then when I put I moved to LA, she was like, me too. So that would be cool. I'm with you on that. I agree. Um, who else do I want to talk to? Gucci Westman and her husband. I agree. I met Gucci briefly in New York. I went to a Westman Atelier event. Also, I really like the classiness of that brand. Like it's very much like the Chanel of like clean beauty, or like the Dior, or like it's giving like high end luxury. Like it's very cool. I love that brand. Um, the brushes, oh my god, the brushes are everything. I think that would be so cool. And how her and her husband work together is really interesting as well. Um, I agree. You're right. Susie would be a really good one. I'm trying to think. What about influencers? Do y'all find influencers that make ooh, you know who else I think would be really cool? Patrick Starr. I don't know if you guys have used One Size before, but One Size is an incredible product line. Like I love Patrick Starr's products are like everything. I think that would be such a cool conversation. And also Patrick is always really helpful, you know? And like I've been in rooms before where Patrick's been like, "Oh, you need something? You can just DM me. I'll like I'll take a look at your stuff and like I'll tell you." And I'm like, "Nobody's doing that." Um Founder of Clure, Leslie. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Klur is Klur. Is that a person of color owned brand? She formulated her products for her clients as an esthetician, and her blog is a great resource for holistic wellness. Is her blog name Klur as well? Oh my gosh, Abina's on my list. We're gonna make that happen. Abina's definitely happening. Abina from Hana Hana Beauty. Absolutely. I think she should be in LA soon, so hopefully that works out. Um Also, like, how can I get you all more involved? Like, I want to like have a way to say, like, hey guys, I'm gonna go interview blah blah blah. Like, do you have a question? That's what I want to do. Like, so that way your real question for that person is being like answered. Ooh, Kristen Cavalieri would be awesome, actually. I love Kristen Cavalieri. That's amazing. Wait, does she have a brand? I don't know if I don't follow her well enough to know if she has a brand, but I'll write her down because I like her too. I'm like an old school, like Laguna Beach fan. Do y'all remember Laguna Beach? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Shani Darden. Absolutely. I would love to talk to Shani Darden. Thank you for that. That's a good idea. But yeah, I want to do that. You know what I mean? For you to like respond and have a poll in your newsletter. Oh, that's a good idea. It's a good idea. I love that. Thank you. Brianna, oh my gosh, founder Brianna Arps, yes, founder of Mudo. Okay, first of all, literally, this is like my whole list of people to talk to. I met her when she first launched Mudo, and I love her. I don't know, we were supposed to do it in New York, but like, this is the thing. So I left New York. Michaela, I love you so much. She like came and helped me pack up everything. I left New York like the end of winter, and I was trying to pack up everything, and at the same time, I was trying to uh, get all these interviews in because, like, New York is like the mecca of all these different beauty creators, and like, there's so many people who own businesses that live in New York, and it's like it's endless. You know what I mean? Like, I could have been there for the next 5 years and not talk to everybody. And so it was hard. I was like, "Oh man, I'm leaving. I'm going to LA." And I didn't know, I knew some LA businesses, but I didn't know them as much as I knew like New York businesses. It's just because you're just like in it. In fact, even now, like my timeline, I was talking to a friend of mine and she was like, "Yeah," she was like, "There's so many events in LA." I was like, "There are?" I was like, "I thought there were more events in New York." And she was like, "Absolutely not. There's like literally an event every day in LA." And I was like, really? And I was like, my timeline is still so New York heavy that I didn't even know, like I didn't even see it. And I also haven't like another thing too, like if you're when you move to a new place, which is something that I haven't done yet, but you should sit and talk with publicists that live in that city because it's a lot easier for you to be able to like make connections. So I still have to obviously do that. Ooh, sorry. Sorry guys. Um Yeah, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. I enjoy a lot of being here. It's been really good, actually. It's been super healthy. Bobby Brown from Jones Road Beauty. I would love to do that. I agree. Bobby Brown is great. Um, um, Especially I would love to talk to Bobby Brown about like the sale of like Bobby Brown. Because she sold it like 20 years ago. So like well, now it's probably 30 years ago, but she sold it to Estee Lauder and then she worked at the company. And I actually saw her do this interview at the makeup show, and she was like, living like she sold it and she started working there because she was like, I don't want the responsibility of running a company right now. I want to raise my boys, I want to raise my kids, and I want to be a home, and I want to be at home. I want to be able to like come home and make sure I'm there. So she made her millions and then she got out. And then I don't know if you guys know this, but she started a smoothie brand. Like, it was all about like health and wellness, and I would love to talk to her about that. But then she ended that and she started Jones Road Beauty. She went back into beauty, and I think, and Jones Road is really interesting too because it's a clean beauty brand. It's completely different. Even the the vibe is still natural makeup. I think that that's like just what she's known for, so it's like a perfect fit in that way. But like it's interesting. Like she was going to be successful regardless. She was going to be able to create something regardless, and I think that that's just super interesting as well. There's so much crossover. I was just at a shoot actually. That's like where I came from today, and I was talking to this girl, and she works for Nike, and she was like, and she also does like wellness and all this stuff. And she was telling me how she was working for a fashion brand, and then she moved to Nike because she was like, I really cared about wellness, and like I went and got my certificate, and I did this and I did that. And I just feel like the world is moving in this new direction where like, I mean, clean beauty is so huge. Like it's so huge. It's its whole other thing. Another person I'm gonna speak to that I have on my radar is, I don't know if you guys know the makeup artist Katie Deno, but she's a clean beauty pro celebrity makeup artist that literally only uses clean beauty on her clients, which is so unique and rare. And so like I thought that was really cool. And I was like, okay, I definitely want to talk to Katie and have her on. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I'd love for you guys to submit questions. I wonder if it would be easy for me to add that to the newsletter. That sounds really good. Um, yeah, LA definitely does seem like it's a be out and be seen to be connected, but everybody's also home really early too, which I love. um, you know, yes, and Vitamin Brandon created a hotel in New. I didn't know she had created a hotel in New Jersey. That's wild. Hey Joe, what's up? Welcome to the party. Thank you for being here. Um, okay, I have somebody to talk about some science behind the beauty. I actually have a chemist that I'm going to talk to in July. She's like a full-on chemist. I have her lip balm in my bag, literally. Okay, Ave Beauty. So a couple weeks ago, I went to this event. I put it on my stories. I need to like start putting things in my stories collectively and like make it a reel and put it on my actual timeline too. But anyways, I went to this event called Black Beauty Collective, and they have a shop in. It's not Playa Vista. Is it Playa Vista? I can't remember. I'm still learning LA, but it's not. Yeah, I think it's Playa Vista, somewhere around there. Anyways, maybe there, Culver City, something like that. Anyways, I went and it was like the opening weekend, so they had all of these different brand owners there. And this girl was like telling me, she was like, I have my own lab. I was like, cut it out. And she was like, no, I have my own lab. I mix my own formula. Like, first of all, this is like a plumping lip gloss. I don't know if you guys, oh, sorry. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like, it's so beautiful. Like, and you can feel it too. It's like, and she's so interesting. So I was like, she's based in SF actually. She's in San Francisco. But I was like, can we talk? And she also does consulting for brands. Like she teaches them like how to actually launch a brand because she used to work at, she actually is a chemist by trade. She's a cosmetic chemist. Ave Beauty, AUVE Beauty. And so yeah, I was like, this is so interesting. Like, I definitely want to hear about how she does it. And her packaging is crazy. Like, she has like the way like all the chemical formulas and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, she has like all the science behind how she's making the product, like on the actual package. So like when I open this up, you could actually see it. It's fantastic. Anyways, I just found her so fascinating. And so I was like, oh man, we have to talk to her. You know what I mean? Like we have to talk to her. And she does consulting. So if you're interested in like starting your own brand, you could hire her and she could help you like take it from like conception to like reality, which I think is really cool because everybody's trying to figure out how to actually have a brand, but it's like, like how do you actually create it, Uh I would also love to hear about the science behind beauty. Yes. Aldo Victoria Beckham Clean Beauty. Yeah, also, yeah, I agree. Also, Victoria Beckham. I agree. They also are very high end, kind of like they're giving like that Westman Atelier vibe, like they're kind of in their own world when it comes to it. I wish Jones Road was brick and mortar, Violet FR too. I just can't wing it on skincare and makeup. You know what? I agree with you on that. Jones Road does have a store. I believe they opened up a store. Michaela, I don't know if you're still in here, but I think they have a store in the city, uh, which isn't helpful for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not everywhere. And I think they have one in Jersey too. Shout it loud so these folks can hear. That's so funny. Okay, Crystal Green is an amazing. Okay, yes, and I do like Crystal. I actually went to go see her. She does specialize in massage, and she's getting a lot of press right now, which I'm really excited about for her. Yay, I love this dialogue, by the way. The progression of beauty over time. I love how health conscious the collective is becoming. Me too. I love that. I feel like there's so much happening right now within the clean beauty space. Like, I'm really feeling like, so I work with, you guys know that I have contracts with Chanel, NARS, and Bobbi Brown. And like, it's really interesting to see how a lot of these companies are starting to really dive into clean beauty. Like Chanel has a whole line, the number one de Chanel line, that's specifically dedicated to clean beauty. Like they want, even if like all of the, for some of these brands that are like house name brands, they've been around for such a long time, there's an audience for the products that they already have, but they're also now creating additional lines. You know what I mean? So like it's really interesting to watch this progression of what's happening, and also like what the consumer's looking for. Cause there's also like, I don't know y'all's experience, but everything clean does not necessarily work for you. Like that's the interesting thing. The idea of clean, right? When you hear the word clean, what do you think of? You think of like washing your body, like not having anything on, like excuse me, bare minimum. And like I remember the first time I used like some clean beauty foundation, and I was like, yeah, I was like, I just want to be like I feel like inside of me is this girl who's like literally so like granola and like, you know what I mean? And she's like, yes, girl, coconut oil for your moisturizer. Like she's like, no makeup. Like if you have any on, it's just like mixed with coconut oil. like that's me, right? Inside. And I remember putting that coconut oil like foundation on my skin, and my skin went crazy. And I was like, but it's clean, but it's clean. You know what I mean? So you could still have reactions to clean beauty formulations. I'm not all the way there with like I have to use everything in my life needs to be clean beauty, but I think that people are interested in exploring it, and I think that that's really cool. And talking to a lot more clean beauty brands, like we had Crave Beauty on, which is a clean beauty brand. We had Violet FR, which is a clean beauty brand. We had, who else is clean? Charlotte Parlamino is also clean. I'm trying to think who else. And sustainable. Those under eye patches are really cool. I love that. Okay, Jones Road is in West Village and in the Hamptons. Greenwich Village. Okay. I think there are 5 brick and mortar stores. Wow, she's really expanding. The other thing I'm really interested in, I haven't done this yet, but I have plans to have like an actual, before I even started this show, before I even started It Takes a Village, I had plans to do to have on some venture capitalists, like actually on to talk about like what do they look for. And I have some conversations that I'm having that are in the works right now, because I think it would be really cool to talk to people. Obviously, different people look for different things, but I'm sure a lot of y'all saw the article that came out not too long ago about how like all this investment that was happening in all these Black owned companies, and now like what's happening. I think that there's an opportunity for me to create somewhat of a bridge between the two worlds. Like I know so many founders, and then I feel like I know I can easily see a company and be like, I know that company's going to do well, and like I think that this is going to be a good bet. And I think that it's really interesting because one of the things that a lot of people have been telling me, because I've actually been having like more private conversations about this, like, okay, how can I help solve this problem? Because I've spent a lot of time thinking about personally, and I'm sure you guys have thought too, like, Delina, are you gonna make a brand? And like I can't say yes or no, because I don't know what I'm gonna do 5-10 years from now. But right now in my mind, I don't have that as something I want to do. But something I'm incredibly passionate about is talking to brand owners. And I'm like, and I feel like I am so interested in like the entrepreneur that um But a lot of people wanna make a product, they wanna make a solution, they wanna make that, and then I'm like, but then you have all this, like, VC money, they don't know where to put it, or that maybe they don't wanna put it in Black-owned companies, but I also feel like they need a person to help create that bridge. So I don't know. I feel like this might be something, there might be some synergy there of how I can help kinda, like, bridge the gap there. That's kind of what I've been paying the most attention to right now, you know? From working at Credo, I think clean beauty has empowered people to become more aware, intentional as consumers, even outside of formulations. I agree, Michaela. I think everyone's just looking, like, especially think about like your lip glosses, your lipsticks, like everything that you put on your face, and you're like you're licking your lips, like all of these things, it matters, you know. So clean isn't necessarily hypoallergenic. I agree, Marietta. So true. And perimenopause and menopause, you need oil in your products. Your skin changes. Hourglass flagship is in Jersey. Who owns Hourglass? I actually don't know who owns Hourglass. Is that is there one person that owns that? Iris, politically, lawsuits have come up against Black venture firms, scholarships, and like the 15% pledge, which doesn't help. Wait, tell me more. I'm curious about that. So it's interesting because I feel like, how can you be more of a bridge between both worlds? Hours based out of LA. Okay, I'm gonna write Hourglass down too. If you all are on the Instagram live, come join the YouTube because we're having a conversation over there, and I want to make sure that I'm able to capture everything we're talking about. That just happened with lawsuits. When? Because I saw the lack of investment, and I saw that article that came out. Was that Fortune or Fast Company? Like there was an article that came out. Kosas, Ilya, T28. Oh, I definitely want to talk to Tower 28 for sure. Absolutely. Tower 28, Kosas, Ilya. Ilya, I didn't know Ilya was based out here. It does make sense though. It's got like an LA vibe. Courts are saying it's discriminatory. It's tied to the anti-DEI track with affirmation. And affirmative action. Okay. I'm gonna look into that. You have to send me that article so I can read about it. RMS. RMS Beauty, I think, was made by makeup artist. I can't remember who. MOB, Vic and Alicia have a lab in Palm Springs. Okay. Was Vic there talking about Pact? Okay, if you guys don't know about Pact, it's like this it's this initiative. Is Pact considered part of Credo or just has a relationship with Credo? But Pact is basically a way for you to be able to give away your recycle all of your old compacts and things like that. Because the interesting thing about makeup is that it's not easily recyclable. So like you give it to Pact and then they take care of it, which is really cool. Okay, he was also the original chemist at Mac. That's interesting. This is what I mean. Like there's a lot of crossover. Yeah, this season's gonna be insanely dope. I'm super excited about it. I've been thinking also about like there's just so many things, like many pieces in order to be able to start a company. And I just find it's just so interesting to me, which is like that's the exciting part is like I love when I find something that I'm so interested in and I just like really want to dive into it. At this point, I probably have like first season we did 10 episodes, second season we did like 24, I believe. 24 episodes. This season, we're probably going to do closer to like 40 some episodes. That's what I'm looking at right now. It's going to be a good amount for sure. Yeah. And Pact also has decided to start working with Sephora as well. I was so like, some Sephoras participate, so you can drop off your stuff and you can recycle it. Please try and recycle your makeup. It is out of control. Like, do you all think about that sometimes? Sometimes I think about recycling and I'm like, how like we got to do a better job. I remember I went to a presentation Credo had like last year for Earth Day. And I remember they were talking and they were like, okay, so, we're trying to help people with like how they can recycle. And I'm like, yeah, but what about like the packaging? What about before people start their packaging? Because that's the interesting thing too. Actually, that would be a really good person to have on. Like before you start making your products at all, who can you call that can help you make a more sustainable package? Like, is there a sustainable package trade show that people could go to that like you start there? Because if you think about it, right, a lot of people are trying to do drop ship now, right? People are trying to figure out how to make money. So everybody's like, oh, I got to drop ship, I got to drop ship. And if you're drop shipping something, um, from a different country and you're like and you're private labeling it, most likely it's probably going to be in some type of plastic, right? That is probably not the best packaging ever. That's another thing that I've also been thinking about is like, okay, yeah, you want to make money, but like think about your environmental impact. Like think about the long-term impact on the planet, right? Like, okay, I want to make a lot of money. Okay, why? Generational wealth. Okay, great. I want more, I want my generation to have money, but I want my kids to have more money. It's like, yeah, but what world do you want those kids to be living in? Like for real. Like what do you want it to look like? Because if you don't pay attention to what you're doing and how you're creating your product, you're adding to the problem. You're not necessarily solving the problem, right? So, sorry. Okay, so just related to Credo, Mia Davis is the co-founder with him. She was formerly with Credo. She was a huge part of Credo's sustainability initiatives. Okay. Um, I work for Ulta Beauty and VA. We recycle. Okay, that's really cool. Is that every Ulta Beauty or is that specific to Virginia? And yes, I do think about that. Need more packaging that breaks down like Jones Road and Human Race. I haven't tried Human Race yet. That's Pharrell's brand. It's the balance of sanitary options with the sustainability. Exactly, exactly. Because it's like you also need to be able to like squeeze certain things out and like make sure that it stays dry and like that extra air doesn't come in, right? PCR post consumer resin is definitely growing with this with sustainable packaging. Good question. I believe so. I use the exfoliator. Love it. Too many products. I agree. There's a lot of products. There's so many products. It's that I think that's kind of like why I don't I am really the type of person that wants to do something that I feel like is going to add to the community or it's going to add to the world. That's very important to me. Like I want to be able to fill something and do something that's needed. Um oh, another thing, I didn't even mention this, but I am actually going to start doing something that I call office hours. So like essentially it's consulting. It's not exorbitantly expensive because I feel like I don't think it needs to be. Um, but I've done a lot of different things. I have worked with a lot of really cool brands personally. Um, man, like I quit my job 10 years ago and I've never worked for anybody else. I've just worked for myself. So like if you have questions about like how do I start a business? Like what are the most important things? Like can I be, like do I how do I negotiate this deal? Like whatever it is. Like if you have questions and things like that of how you can take your business to the next level, I'm only going to do it one day a month and it's going to be like the first week of every month. And I'm really excited about this because I also feel like I can help founders. Like if you're a founder of a company and you're trying to figure out how do I do something on social media, or if you're like, dude, I just want to talk to you for an hour about social media strategy. And it's informal, but it will be productive. I'm not like it's essentially you come to me with questions and I'll give you answers, places to go, what to do. I'm super, super, super excited about it. Cause honestly, I do this all the time. A friend of mine literally the other day texted me and was like, hey, I have a deal with Maybelline and they're asking me, actually it wasn't with Maybelline, it was with a different company, but she was like, oh, I want to know like what I should do for like, how much should I charge them for this? I'm like, oh girl, you should probably charge them between this and this. Okay, you sure? Yeah. Okay, ask them. What do they offer? Okay, it was around the same price. Okay, this is what you need to do. I love, 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 love negotiating so much. And like my friends know me for this. Like my friends in the industry know me for this. They will call me and ask me like, how do I do this? How do I make some money? Like, I don't know what to do. Um, Or if you're just simply like, I want to know, you did this one thing, I want to know how you can do how I can do that too. Like I was on the Today Show, like you want to know how you can get on the Today Show, book a session with me. I'll tell you what you need to do. Or you want to make a web series. I made Exploring Harlem and I like shot it and like produced it. You want to know how to do that? I can show you how to do that. You want to know how to contact a brand? You can reach out to me. I will show you how to do that. So all of these things are like essentially consulting services that you can come to me for. And it like fires me up, y'all. I get so excited when I help people because then I'm like, listen, I'm like, because it's fun. It's so fun. It's fun to help people. It really is. It's super fun. So yeah, I'm gonna do it one day a month, and it's like only like a few sessions available a month. So I'm gonna announce it in my newsletter. If you're not already on my newsletter, go to delinamedhin.com and sign up for my newsletter. And for everybody who's in here that hasn't yet written a review, it means so much on the if you could go to Apple and write a review, and I think Spotify does reviews now too. But if you could write a review for It Takes a Village, I would like be so grateful. Please, please, please. It means, excuse me, it means a lot. And then I like reading what you guys say because you'll be like, oh, I like this or I like that. Okay, now let's talk about what you don't like because we've been talking a lot about what you do like. I want to know what you don't like. Excuse me, or like things that you think I should improve. Would love your income generating activity. Share. Listen, man, we're gonna get into it. I do. I want to open up a contempt and luxury boutique. Amazing. That's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be so fun. I'm really excited. From the chemist perspective, it would be great to hear of options like tablets and then you add water would work. There are cleaning supplies that give you a container and then tablets to refill. You know what? I actually just bought a cleaning supply like that, or cleaning supply. I just bought like a spray, and I can't remember the name of the brand, but it was like at Target, and you just pour it into this glass bottle and then you fill it up with water. I love that idea. I thought that was so cool. So I'm definitely going to do that more because I was like, that makes so much sense. I love that. Yeah, there is Henry Rose perfume, which is clean and amazing, Michelle Pfeiffer's brand. I haven't heard of that. Henry Rose perfume. Are they based here? Are they based here? Blue Land is what I use. Wait, what's Blue Land? I haven't heard of that. Yes, in Los Angeles started in COVID. She created it quite a while ago, named after her kids. I liked when episodes released differ from another. So if you do a makeup artist one, then do a founder the next. Okay, cool. I like that. We really tried to do that last season to try and we tried to mix those up. Iris. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. Kind of that's also why I didn't really share like, oh, I'll have this person on next week because I like recorded everything completely out of order and then afterward I like mixed everything up. So it was like, okay, makeup, now it's hair, now it's founder, now it's content creator, like a little bit of a mixture. But I agree with you. I think it kind of keeps everything fresh and more interesting. I also want to talk to more like different types of people. Like we had Julie Candelek on that does nails and like she was really cool and interesting. I would love to talk to a stylist. Oh my god, I would love to talk to a stylist. I also want to talk to a style content creator. You know who I'd love to talk to? Janae Naylor, the girl who's released. Actually, I need to go. I need to put a little alarm on my thing. She has a Target collection that's coming out. The second part of her Target collection. I missed the first drop, which I'm super upset about, but it looks super cute. I would love to talk to her because I feel like the way she just creates content is just so good. And I'm pretty sure her husband is her photographer and videographer, which is also really cool. I love that. I love seeing that. And I think that happens a lot with content creators. Like they like collaborate and it's like two people that work together. Carla Welsh. Yeah. I like Carla Welsh actually. Okay, I'll write her down. She always hits. Law Roach always hits. He's amazing. Hayat Rida. Oh, Desi Perkins. I don't know Desi. Okay. Desi Perkins. Okay. Um, I'm trying to think about other things that might be happening. On this season. Man, oh my gosh, did you guys love the episode with Rianne Silva, the founder of Beauty Blender? I was like, y'all don't understand. Literally, like 6 years ago, I was in a classroom with like three other makeup artists, and we were at this like a classroom setting. There was like a board, a blackboard, and we all wrote down like, who do you want to talk to? And like, or who do you want to like do things with or whatever. You guys, honestly, manifestation, that's another thing that we need to have that's another thing we need to have a class on. We need to have a class on manifestation, because I promise you, like, I literally write things down and they come true. And it's interesting because like I literally wrote her name down. I did not know her. I didn't know anything about her. And I remember like being like, when I get Rianne Silva on my show, like I will feel officially certified. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even have the show wasn't even in my mind, but I remember being like, I want to know her. And then when she got on the show, I was like, this is crazy. And I know a lot of y'all know Crystal Wright, who is number 3, episode number 3. She is like my makeup mentor. I literally called her and was like, hey, do you know? I didn't even know that she knew Rianne. She was like, oh yeah, no, I know Rianne. She's the one who put me in touch with her. So like, it's amazing. Like, and Rianne is just such a real person. Oh my gosh, you had dinner a few months ago when she was in Florida, Marietta. I love this. The podcast is coming together. I love it. That's amazing. I love that you had dinner together. Yeah, she's just a genius. Like, super super hustler. I love what she was talking about. And then she's just such an iconic makeup artist. Like, she did so much. Like, she worked on like Friday, she worked on Moesha, like she worked on all the shows. And then she's a good friend of mine. I love that. Man, listen, the legends hang out with each other. I love it. So yeah, that was a really cool moment for sure. I'm trying to think about who else do I want to have on this show. Anybody else who's like, y'all's like, oh my gosh, I have to have them on. I really want to see them. Cause would y'all be interested in me expanding beyond wellness, beauty, style, entertainment? Or do you feel like Iman? Oh, Iman would be incredible. You know who would be kind of amazing too, actually? Not kind of. You know who would be really amazing? June Ambrose would be dope. Who you should have Stephanie Cozart Burton. Who's Stephanie Cozart Burton? I don't know who that is. Write that down. Stephanie Cozart Burton. What other episodes do we have? Oh, another person I'm gonna have on again. If y'all haven't listened to episode 33, y'all definitely gotta listen to it. Yaneli Espinal is incredible. She's actually been personally helping me with like investment conversations. We've been talking about like how to invest, what to invest. But the last episode we did together was how to get out of debt, save, and invest. And then we're gonna go a lot deeper into investment this season, which I'm super, super excited about. We're gonna record soon, like within the next, maybe this week actually. It might be this week or next week. So I'm super, super, super excited about that. Ah, expand into models. That's a good idea. Who do I know who's a model? I'm trying to think. But yeah, if y'all haven't listened to that episode, like Yaneli is incredible. And she also has a book called Mind Your Money. Um, Incredible. I feel like she's really doing thank you, Kathy. You're so sweet. LeVar's wife. Who's LeVar? I feel like LeVar's wife, Stephanie Cozart Burton. I'm gonna look her up. Um, yes. Oh, Karen Britchick. That's a good idea. Wait, stay in the pocket. I love that. Somebody says stay in the pocket. Angela. Angela says stay in the pocket, girl. LeVar Burton, the only LeVar that matters, I guess. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Y'all, that's a mess. Okay. Okay, Reading Rainbow. I got it. I'm sorry. The only LeVar that matters. I know. I'm sorry. The Delina, comma, Reading Rainbow is hilarious. All right. So tell me for y'all, like, why are you interested in these conversations? Are you interested? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Marietta's getting on me right now. Okay. She's like cooking and typing typing and cussing me out at the same time. Okay. Um, yeah, tell me why you're interested. Like, are you guys like I know earlier Anne was talking about how she's like working on a company. Like, are you working on a company or are you just interested in the stories? Like tell me tell me like what is the draw? Like what's the interest here? Um or you just like a good story. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just like a good story. Karen Bridchick is cool. You know who else I want to have on? Tanika. You guys like Tanika B? I love her. She's amazing. And she's such a good we went to last year we were at the Bobby Brown event together and we were sitting down and like talking. And I never talk about where I go or what I do. This is such a different type of conversation. I feel like we're literally like just talking. Like I called you guys up. So um yeah, we were at an event for Bobby Brown and she was sitting across from me and it was great. We had such a good conversation. I like her a lot. She was in TV doing iconic shoes way before there were many of us. I stand on her shoulders. Okay. Okay, cool. Iconic shows way before there were many of us. I did not know that. I like the stories, especially from BIPOC women. There's always something I can take away and use into my 9 to 6. Okay, perfect. I also feel that too. Um, yeah, I know I told y'all I renamed the show back to It Takes a Village. It's funny because I was really hesitating. When I put It Takes a Village to Raise an Entrepreneur was a really long title. Okay. It was very long. Okay. But you guys hung out with me and you let it rock because it was so long. It was so long that I felt like I was like my mouth was tired by the time I finished saying it. So I cut it shorter again. But I just felt like It Takes a Village was there's too many shows named It Takes a Village, so I felt like I needed to add a little something to it. Anyways, it is what it is. And honestly, for some of them, it also reinforces my use of the brand. Love it. I look at cosmetics as part of fashion to complete looks. I love hearing how companies started and how they grow. Okay, cool. I love it. That's amazing. Okay, we're gonna wrap in like 5 minutes because I feel like we got some good stuff going. What other things do I feel like has happened here that I feel like would be good in terms of expansion? Um, um, what else do I want to do? Yeah. There's definitely going to be you're going to see a huge difference in wellness. Oh, I am going to talk to somebody who's more in like okay, so I would say this. I would say this is what you can expect from the season. You can expect beauty, wellness, fashion, founders, creators, entrepreneurs, uh kind of all of the above. And like what they really do to kind of keep themselves together. Oh, thanks, Michaela. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying I'm a good interviewer. I appreciate that. It's it's something I really enjoy. I like really enjoy talking to people and getting their perspective. So I like that you vibe with it. Um Bridging the gap between established social media gurus like yourself and people like me. Ah, okay. Interesting. Interesting. You don't facts. You don't interrupt them and ask great questions because you know the industry. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I like that. Um, Man, I had to learn how to not interrupt people though. I will tell you that. My sister taught me how to do that because my sister's a really, really, really good listener, and I obviously like to talk. Um, and so growing up, like she literally would get on me, like, because she'd listen to me talk, and then we, and then I'm just thinking about, I was just talking to her on the phone, and she was like, in every relationship, apparently there's a golden retriever and a black cat. And I started laughing. I was like, what I was like, wait, I was like, I'm the golden retriever. And I was like, you're definitely the black cat. And she was like, correct. But my sister listens so well. And I always remember wanting to just become a better listener. Like I always wanted to be a better listener. It was really hard because I felt like I would think of things as somebody was saying, and then it would be very hard for me to like, I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to forget that thought. And so I would just hold the thought in my head, and then I would like not be listening, right? So something that you'll notice if you see, like I always have a notebook in front of me when I'm interviewing people because I have to write, like if I have a thought like that I need to write down, which I do it less and less now. I did it more in the very beginning, but I would take notes. Like I would write something down. Like maybe let's say I'm thinking they're talking to me, and like Danessa's talking to me about like her growing up and how it was her growing up and having kids and all of that. And then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, interesting. And then I'm like, I start thinking about like hair or something. Like I start thinking about like, well, hair would be a little bit too far off. I would probably say like, okay, well, what's her first experience in makeup or something like that, right? Like I'd think maybe that as a kid. And so I don't want to interrupt her. I want her to keep going. And also my favorite, and in addition to my sister telling me that I'm the golden retriever, just kidding. I actually told myself that. But in addition to her, my favorite interviewers are like Tim Ferriss. I don't know if you guys listen to Tim Ferriss show, the Tim Ferriss show, which I absolutely love. And like who else? It's interesting. I have range though. I have range. I do like. I also listen to like Call Her Daddy, which I love, and I also listen to Giggly Squad, where they interrupt each other all the time. It's like I love all these different types of shows, but my favorite type of interview shows are when they don't interrupt the guest because like people can go on a journey. I think the best example of that actually is the episode that I did with Marietta, where like I didn't have any agenda when I came into the conversation. Like I knew we were going to talk about film and television, and then we all of a sudden started talking about family, and it turned into this like really beautiful conversation. In fact, so many people in Marietta have called me about that conversation specifically, especially film and TV gurus have called me, like people who are in the union. If you've ever been interested in film and television, please check out that episode. It's so good, episode 4. Um, and they were just like, I'm crying literally about the her life and her life story, and just like how impactful it was, how they were such a community and like really raised their child together. Like the there's a story that she shared about how like there are teamsters that it's like a union that where they help move like the RVs and the vans and everything like that. She was saying she was like breast pumping like on set, and then literally the teamsters would take that milk and take it to the hotel where her husband was with the baby so that he could feed their child, Gregoire. It's wild. Like you have to listen to it. It's so interesting and just beautiful, and it's such a specific like you really have it really does take a village. It takes a village to be a human being. You know what I mean? Which is why I got rid of the raise it to raise an entrepreneur, because it's really just everybody needs a village. The draw for me is that I love everything beauty, and during the pandemic, I was able to be up close and personal with you on Instagram. I've been in the beauty industry for over 30 years. Okay, Kathy, I love that. That's beautiful. Queen and Zinga and Dion Alexander on the podcast. Oh my God, there's so many good episodes. I was listening the other day. I was re-listening the other day to the Rianne one and the Yanelli one, which I thought was really cool. Tamara, thank you. Queen and Zinga. Who's Queen and Zinga? Dion Alexander. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Kathy. As I continue to follow you, I realize it does take a village, and you help me so much. Thank you, Iris. Thank you so much for joining. I know it's kind of late, especially on the East Coast. Okay. All right, you guys. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. This has been fantastic. Like super, super, super helpful. If you can, please leave a review. That's my only ask. And I hope that we do this again because this was really fun and I learned a lot. And if you happen to think of something else, please let me know, because you guys are the village for real, for real. And I just really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for rocking with me. And this is like really super cool, very cool. I have to figure out a way to get your questions on the show because I really am doing this for you. And yeah. All right. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.